Welcome to the Makerplace. This is a tutorial on 3D printing.
Hello everyone, I'm Natalie, your Makerplace coordinator here at the Midland Public Library. And today I will be walking you through how to use Tinkercad, which is a program that is going to help us in 3D printing. Our objective for 3D printing today is to consider objects that we can create that will better the world or help out the world in some way. I'm going to provide some ideas on how to get yourself started, and I'm also going to walk you through my own idea on something that will improve the world through 3D printing. So to get started, I'm going to share my screen of the program that we're going to be using, which is the Tinkercad program. Now you're going to be provided with a login to log into Tinkercad. And once you do that, you're going to see a page that looks similar to what you see here. Below, under My Recent Designs, you're going to see some of the lessons that you will have undertaken. And the lessons are fairly easy to follow. I will show you an example of one. Before I do that, I want to draw your attention to the top bar, which says Learn. Click on that icon. Then click on the lessons icon in the top middle of the screen, and then click on See All Lessons. Here, you're going to be able to brainstorm some ideas on how to get yourself started with this project. Now, there are some objects you can create that will help better the world just by itself as being the object that can better things. And one example would be, if you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, you see what looks like just a regular wrench. So this wrench can be extended within a prosthetic arm, and prosthetic arms have been known to be made in 3D printers, and that's to help individuals who need that extra motor help. And so some people who can't grip or grasp tools very well, we could create other tools in helping that grip and grasp. And that's the nice thing about 3D printing, is we can experience different types of innovation through our imagination coming to life in 3D form. Now, the tool itself doesn't have to be what changes the world. It could be the idea behind the object. Let me give you some ideas. This ruler here, most rulers have inches and centimeters broken down for us, but very few indicate fractions or the conversion of fractions to decimals. And often that conversion is something that can help us in becoming smarter. Too often we rely on technology and we don't think for ourselves. So what better way than to use technology, this 3D printing, to inspire us to start thinking for ourselves again. And in that thinking, we're creating a better world. But if you don't like that idea, think about this. What about buttons? You can create your own interesting button, but in doing so, you can show the amount of energy it takes just to produce one button. And then you can create a project that shows the whole class, as well as other people involved, how much energy people in the world put into creating our clothing. And when I say our, I mean people in privileged countries like our country. We never really stop to think about the amount of energy that goes into the making of our clothing. We don't think of the people who are behind those sorts of actions. So by drawing our attention through a project like this, you're creating enlightenment and you're changing the world in that way. Or let's draw our attention to the recent world problem, which is this pandemic, COVID-19. Think about objects you can create in helping that pandemic. For example, look at this luggage tag. Many of us are becoming vaccinated, and if we want to start traveling, we need to show proof that we have had our vaccinations. You could create a luggage tag that has that indication that says that the person has been fully vaccinated, therefore creating better flow, better movement, more trust in our society, and creating a better world. Let's go back to our main screen for just a moment, the first page that I showed you. On that page, I want to show you a project that I've already started myself. It's this here. When you click on that icon, you're going to come to a page that will help walk you through the lesson of creating this 3D object. Now, what is it? Well, my idea in bettering the world and creating a better world, especially in light of COVID-19, is to create a mold that is sometimes considered a candy mold, but in this particular case, it's a special kind of candy. It's a candy that has vitamins that help fight and keep off viruses like COVID-19, especially within or among children who cannot quite get vaccinated at the moment. And the idea behind the mold is that it's fun and we can make it personalized. So we can put the child's personal name within the mold to make them want to be involved in taking their vitamins all the more. So let's get started. When you start a project within Tinkercad, you just simply read the instructions and walk through each one. The instructions are found in the left part of the screen, and it says getting started. Buying candy from the store is amazing, but making your own is even better. It's also even better when we know that we're doing it for a good cause, such as creating vitamins within the candy. I'm going to make my mold the size of a small candy bar. So we should do that as well, because the closer we create our object to the way the instructions are laid out, the easier we'll find the printing process. So the very first step is to place a box on the work plane and size it to be 75 millimeters long. So take a box, just simply click on it and drag it out to your work plane. Put it down. When you do that, there are going to be 4 black boxes that appear. Click on one of the side black boxes and drag it out long ways until you reach the number 75, which is indicated at the bottom of the screen. You'll see it right here. Now my object is 75 millimeters long. Now, for the height, how tall is it going to be? Supposed to be 10 millimeters. We're going to go to the top black box, click and drag it down until we get to the number 10. Oh, we're at 11. We just need to go down one more. And now we're at 10. Next, we're going to rotate the object so we can see the width of it, the side. To do that, you're going to click the right button on your mouse, hold it down, and move the mouse around, which will allow you to move the object with different angles. So now I have the angle of the width of the object, and I'm going to pull the black side square out until I reach 20 millimeters. Great. Fantastic stuff, everyone. Okay, the next step, it says, place a second box on the work plane and size it to 70 millimeters, 15 millimeters wide, and 20 millimeters tall. So to do that, we're going to do the exact same thing. All those steps we just did, we're going to repeat them all. This time, we're going to make sure that the length of the object is 70 millimeters. Slightly smaller than the last, and the height is going to be 20. It's already at 20, you can see that here. And then the width is going to be 15. So we're going to again rotate it, and then just move the width in a bit to 15. Wonderful. Great, now we have our 2 boxes. Now, make the smaller box a hole. What you're going to do is you're going to highlight the smaller box, for the box we just did. And then when you do that, you're basically going to just do a left click on the mouse and hold down, drag a box, that dotted box over top to highlight the object. Then you're going to see a box that appears at the top right of the screen. It says shape. It's going to be a solid shape or this stripe shape, which means hole. So that's going to become a hole in our object. So we're just going to place hole, click on that. Now, let's properly align the boxes so that they are centered on one another. So first, I'm going to put the hole that we just created over top of this bigger box. Now, to properly align them, what we need to do is we need to highlight both boxes together. So that's again the left click on your mouse, drag, and have that dotted square go over top. Then we're going to go to the top bar here on a line. That's what this icon looks like right here, a line. Okay, so now everything is aligned in that shape. Now, right now the hole is sitting on the work plane, and if we were to group the shapes, the small box would cut all the way through the first box, so we can't have that happen. So what it's asking us to do is click on this black arrow and lift to 3 millimeters. You can see there's a 3 millimeter lift here. Wonderful. Okay, next, we're going to remove the hole from the red box. We need to group the shape. So we're going to select both boxes and click the group button at the toolbar to cut the whole shape from the larger box. So what we're going to do is highlight both boxes together. You do that again by clicking on the left button on your mouse, hold and drag the square or rectangle over top. Then the shape icon will appear, and above it you're going to have a icon that's called group. Click on that and you're going to group those two shapes together. Now when you do a bird's eye view, you'll see that you have the bottom of the shape. There's that lip that we were talking about, and all around there's a bit of a wall, and that's what's going to create your candy mold. Now, to make the mold complete, we want to customize it with someone's name. So say your name is Alex. Let's write Alex in the mold so that when we pour the candy mixture with vitamins inside, we're going to have, when it's released, turned upside down, the name Alex perfectly written out or pressed within the candy. So let's read what the instructions say. Select text from the shape drop down near the top of the shapes panel. So this is the box that they're referring to. We're going to click the black arrow that's pointing down, and then we'll see the text and numbers option. Click on that. Then you're going to be able to choose the letters of the name that you're looking to spell out. So as I said, I'm going to do Alex. Okay, wonderful. Now, next step. Now you will need to line up all the letters in a straight line. We can do this by aligning them all to the bottom of each letter. Select all the letters and select the line from the Adjust menu, and then click the Align button near the bottom of the letters to align them. Okay, so we're going to select all of those letters. Then we're going to go to the Align icon, click on that. Make your letters a single word by grouping them together. Select all the letters and click the Group button on the top toolbar. Let's select them all. Then there's a Group button here. You're going to click that. It's going to make it easier for us to now move the entire letter right into the or the entire word, I should say. And we know that it's in the full word. It's grouped together because it's all one color. So let's move it into our shape and get it in place where we want it to be. Now that you have created your word, it's time to position it. So we've moved the word to inside of the mold. Click Align button on the toolbar and align the two shapes. So we're going to highlight the two shapes, and we're going to click the Align button, and we're just going to push the middle circles here to align it all. As you can see, the word here takes up most of the length. If you want a longer name, you can adjust the size of your letters. To adjust the scale of your word, you need to select your word and then hold Shift down on your keyboard and then click and drag. I don't need to do that in my particular case, but you can follow these steps if that is the case for you. If you scaled your word, you will need to align it again. So now let's finish up our mold. Select your word, then click the mirror button on the toolbar. So let's select the word. And then we're going to go to the mirror button. And that's this button right here. And we've moved the A from the left side to the right side now. So it's backwards. So that if we were to put a candy mixture and then the candy hardens and we turn it over and we release it from the mold, the name will then read forward. And then the final step is to group your shapes into a single object. Select both shapes and then select Group from the toolbar. Now we're done. The next step would be to export your object. And you will do that just simply by clicking Export at the top of the right part of your screen. And then you're going to make this into a STL readable form. So click on that. And you have created what is readable now for our 3D printers.
Now that you know how to design your 3D object, let's check out the technology to print it. Step 1. Using the MakerPlace One computer, put your USB disk within the computer and pull up the STL file that you have exported from Tinkercad or a related program. Go to your desktop and locate the AltaCura program. Once it opens, you have the option of going to the File menu, clicking Open, going into your USB, and opening the STL file that you had exported. Step 2, once within the Ultimaker Cura, go to your File menu, click Open, find your USB, click on the STL file that you have, and it would automatically populate within the program. Step 3, you're going to slice the STL file so that it's compatible with the 3D printer. Now, before slicing, you always want to check your model to make sure that it's watertight so that the STL file is complete before you put it into the next process. You can do that using different programs such as the 3D Builder by Microsoft. So assuming that that's already been done, and you could always rely on the help of individuals and volunteers within the MakerPlace to help you along with that process, we're then going to look at the different qualities of slicing.
So what is slicing exactly? It is the process by which one computer data file is converted to another computer data file. So the STL is going to be converted to G code, which is what's readable by the 3D printer. So in that process, there are some parameters that we can address. For example, filament diameter, filament material, such as PLA, ABS, nozzle size of the machine, nozzle temperature, layer height, print speed, infill density, etc. You can address these different areas by going to the Custom button here and scrolling down and looking and reading for the different elements that must be addressed for your particular project. However, there is a recommended profile here that you can take a look at, and if it's all to your liking, then you just simply press the slice button. Once you do that, there's going to be a read of how long the printing process will take.
Step 4, you're going to take a memory card and insert it into this lovely device here.
take the device and put it into the USB area. And then you're simply going to save your new G-code file onto the memory card. Step 5, turn on the Ultimaker. There is a button at the very back of the machine. Insert your SD card or memory card. Turn the round button to print. Push the button. Find your file by scrolling and then push the button again. The machine is now heating up. Throughout this entire process, there is wonderful help available, and there is a particular process that should be followed. For example, there are tips that can be given to you from our wonderful volunteers about the design for 3D modeling. That then leads into your 3D model checking, which then leads into your slicing of the model, but the slicing itself should also be checked. Finally, when the printing of the model, there are certain tips and tricks that you might want to be aware of when the process begins. But for now, as we are all working remotely, this video is strictly to give you an indication how the material works. Finally, when the printing is done, the printer will say print finish. You can remove the print. To do so, just simply take an instrument like this and just nudge the bottom of the plastic so that you're levering it. Voila!